Slashy with Horror Yearbook, and I'm at the EA Games studio in Redwood City, and I'm sitting with the art director of the new game, Dead Space.
The overall story of Dead Space, sort of what's going on, is it's about 500 years in the future, and mining operations have expanded to a degree where they go to planets and pretty much strip them out wholesale. They call that planet cracking, and there's these giant ships that go do it. And when this one cracks open a planet, all kinds of bad stuff happens.
I've seen some pictures, screenshots, posters, great stuff. It all looks beautiful, very eerie and kind of creepy. And I know you probably deal with that a lot.
Yeah,
so
that's
as
my
the art
job.
director.
Yeah.
How would you get a game like this to appeal to a typical horror fan, someone that is into like horror movies but may not be a traditional gamer or hardcore gamer?
We're all horror fans here, and so we're into it, and we are sort of from that sensibility ourselves, and we've been playing that from the beginning. So I would hope that someone who's sort of a horror nut would recognize the things that we're trying to do and enjoy that, compared to so many games. Like, having blood is not that big a deal in a game, right? Plenty of games do that. That's not a big deal. But we, from the start, have been trying to get that real sort of horror, like that feeling in it, right? Where it's kind of
tense.
Yeah, it's like tense and like
a little bit slower.
It's slower, and the enemies have parts of them that are kind of recognizable. Like there's horror to it. You know, it's like the first Alien or The Thing. Or even then, if you go into straight, horror stuff, something like a Dawn of the Dead or something like that has that sort of sensibility.
Where you recognize the monsters as
human, right? And there's like a horror there, and what they can do to you is pretty horrible. Some of those things that make a horror movie fun are actually even cooler in a game setting. So
because
it's you in that danger, and it's you escaping or not escaping, and it's there's no camera tricks. Like in a horror movie, right? They might have the protagonist, and then they do like the shadow that goes in front between the character and the camera, right? They do like that kind of thing. Like, we can't do that, because we don't know where the camera is. That's not how it works. Our scares are more, I don't want to say legit, but it's that kind of thing. They're more organic. They may not happen the same way every time. Some things are scripted, but a lot of things are part of, you hear, like, you can actually turn and look yourself. If you hear a thing that goes bump, you can turn and look and sort of and have that experience yourself, as opposed to just sort of, oh, it's off camera, so I don't know what's going on. So, like, that's what's cool about working on a horror game instead of a horror movie.
Okay, and you reference The Thing and Alien. What other movies or even other video games or anything inspired this game?
In terms of like what we specifically referenced, some of the big hitters, we really liked how the parts of The Thing, that felt repulsive and not just like a scary alien, all that kind of stuff. But a lot of times we, rather than looking at movies and video games, because you tend to kind of get derivative that way, is that we just thought ourselves about things that really made us scared, or life situations. Like, a lot of our lighting in the game is based on dentist lights, and because everybody hates going to the dentist, and when he like swings that light in front of you, and like maybe his office is like from the 70s, and the lens is kind of yellowy, and there's like a fly in there or whatever. It's like, and the way that lighting makes you feel. Or if you look closely at our enemy designs, like, people get really freaked out about their teeth, like teeth, like they like pain. It just feels more intimate than sort of breaking your leg, which like sucks, and no one wants that. But when you think about like a bottle opener on your teeth, like, that makes you go like in a primal way. So a lot, like, if you look closely at some of our bad guys, it looks like that's happened to them, and they've got like teeth, like jaws that have been sort of ripped open, or teeth problems and that kind of stuff.
Okay, going back to the gameplay, what exactly would you say that you have like improved on gameplay wise? How the controls feel, and what is...
You can strafe.
Oh, yeah?
All right, so compared to what people are complaining about with like Resident Evil and stuff, I would say a huge one that I don't think another game has managed to pull off as well as we have is from the top, we wanted this to be very immersive. That we didn't want a bunch of reminders that you were playing a video game. So we decided that there was going to be no heads-up display, no UI in the game. And everything would occur in the world. And that turned out to be a much harder thing to pull off than we thought it was going to, but we sort of stuck with it. And I think in the end, it really pays off. So there's no, like how
no menu screen?
Oh, well, there's a
or
front end.
Inventory?
There's a front end.
Okay.
There is, but it's in the world. It projects off of him. So his health is on his back because he's a miner, and they would be sort of like checking on each other to see how they were doing, and it's like a canary in a coal mine kind of thing. Ammo is sort of projected off him. There's no like floating arrow that just sort of exists telling you where to go. We need that information though, so he, as an engineer, has a system where he can project a hologram out of his hand, and it lights up the path to his next objective on the floor, but in the world. So it doesn't break the illusion. But one of the coolest things about the game is that there's two worlds existing simultaneously. You can be in a room with a big window and there's like 3 guys and they can't get through the door, but then they go and disappear into the vent, and then you can hear like like kind of, but then there's like 2 vents where you are and you don't know which way they're gonna come at you. The key sort of gameplay of our game is called strategic dismemberment. So how horror is that, right? That you win, you don't have guns, you have like mining tools that you kind of just makeshift. And they shoot like wide blades, they're used for like cutting rocks up and that kind of stuff. And like these are horrible monsters that if you just shoot their head off, they're still coming at you. They're just blind now, and their whole attitude is affected because they get all enraged. Or like if you shoot an arm off, then he'll come at you with it. You shoot both legs off, he's still coming at you, but he can only sort of crawl at you like this.
So then how do you stop them?
Well, you just dismember them enough until they've got nothing left to come at you with. But here's the thing. So like you've seen a guy for a while and you're, oh, okay, I know how this dude, I prefer to take him down like leg, arm, and then he's done, or I get this guy first or whatever. But then you start to see these ones that have like this swollen sack in them. And now it's not only a good idea to dismember them, now it's actually, if you shoot him in the gut, it actually makes your problems worse because he bursts open and a bunch of new smaller guys, in addition to him still coming at you, now are coming at you along with him. It's we want people to be able to tailor their, everybody enjoys games in a slightly different way, right? And maybe you're a big time horror fan who wants to see a great story and have fun, but you're not like a super hardcore. You can set the game on easy and put all your your weapon upgrades into something like damage, and just sort of and compensate for maybe not being able to be pinpoint accurate by sort of making the game fun for yourself that way. Someone else may be much more of a surgeon, like they want to be able to sort of bing, 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 bing.
No,
like,
I'm a good shot.
Are you a good shot? I'm not implying that you are either way. I'm sure you're fantastic. But you could, so this is a game that has the flexibility to allow you to tailor it.
When the development team was working on this game, were any of the people heavily under the influence of drugs and alcohol?
Well, I can't speak to everyone's personal life. I've witnessed the development team be under the influence of alcohol on several occasions, only occasionally while actively developing, although certain things came out of discussions that were had under the influence, I would imagine. But you got to show up and be able to work, so no one was too bad, although by the look in some people's eyes, there were some hard weekends, but they didn't bring that to the office too